Okay, well, before we get to the news of the day, let me just rewind and show y'all something that was posted at CNN on March 9th, 2018. I remember recording a video about this that was on my old channel that got deleted by YouTube. Every time I think about that, I get angry. But then again, YouTube is my whore, so that's all there is to it. So this was something I remember pointing out at the time, that what this represented was something I don't know, pretty wild. Get out of here. Get out of here. This represented something pretty wild in the sense that this was CNN. CNN used to be, of course, used to be reliable, used to be not so biased. It used to be like back in the 90s or so, or whenever. It was a place you went to for hard news, like, and it was trustworthy, and you can believe it if you can actually believe it. Maybe it was never really trustworthy, but that was what it seemed to be anyway. And in 2018, they posted this article, "Cuckolding can be positive for some couples," study says. And so they have a picture. Acting on adulterous fantasies may strengthen a relationship, as counterintuitive as it may sound. In our current political climate, the word cuck, short for cuckservative, has become an insult for the so-called alt-right, aimed at men they view as spineless and emasculated. The slur has its roots in the concept of cuckolding, or having an adulterous partner. But then they go on to say, but these doctors, these academicians, they say, well, cuckolding's not so bad. And cuckolding, we all have our own idea of what normal is in relationships. So maybe maybe you and your significant other should explore cuckolding. That's basically what this article is all about. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I've talked about it before, even though I've not. Even though I guess the video that I did is now lost forever on the subject, but I'm just using it now to as a backdrop because the mainstream media strikes again. And this time, what are they pushing on us? It's polyamory. So this is from the New York Post, which is supposed to be ostensibly a conservative, kind of I guess a neocon outlet. But they're still saying, is your relationship ready for polyamory? 6 signs that point to yes. Okay. So, look into CNN 7 years ago or 6 years ago says, look into cuckolding. Don't be too closed-minded. Really consider whether you and your significant other might want to take up cuckolding. Might want to find somebody to. If you're a man, think you maybe want to bring some other guy into your relationship and have him screw your wife while you watch. That might be something that is helpful to your relationship. You never know. Keep an open mind. Okay, so this one. So now, is your relationship ready for polyamory? Is it ready for polyamory? Like that's like even the headline is like saying, well, your relationship has got to be really good. If your relationship is really good, then it's ready for polyamory. If it's not, it might not be ready yet. You might need to work on it a little bit more before it's ready for polyamory. like they were doing with cuckolding in the other article, basically saying, basically not saying that they're recommending it, but basically recommending it. Why is the mainstream news telling us that we should accept or adopt deviant sexual practices. That's something that's something that you didn't see 10 years ago. Something that you definitely didn't see 20 years ago. That's completely new. Maybe if you went off the beaten path and read some far out journal somewhere, some new age journal or something, or something out of Rolling Stone, or I don't know, some flakier kind of journal, you would see articles like this. But this is at supposedly hard news sites. Okay. So 6 signs that point to yes. Let's see what they've got to say here. Oh, I love this. A typo in the very first line. Three's Company, comma, 2 TWO. No, what you mean is Three's Company 2 TOO. Like it's also company. Just like in the song. Just like in the theme song to the 70s sitcom. So, yeah, way to go, guys, already. Typo in the very article about pushing polyandry or polymorphous, polyamory. Yeah, polyamory. You got, and typo in the very first line. We're off to the races here. New York Post, way to go. Your relationship could be ready for the adventure of polyamory, and you might not even know it, according to experts on the subject of non-monogamy. Who's an expert on the subject of non-monogamy? Do they get paid to be experts on the subject of non-monogamy? I mean, is there money in that? I'm guessing that there is, because there's money in just about everything that's terrible today. That's the way society is right now. The more is more concept has been increasingly common among American couples. The recent study showing that a majority of surveyed Gen X aged participants are opting for open relationships. All right, open relationships are not the same thing as polyamory, though. Open relationships are not good either. But it's not the same as polyamory. Open relationships are just like, well, we're not exclusive. We can sleep together, but then we can also sleep with other people. That's an open relationship. Polyamory is different than that. I think this article knows that, but they're trying to blur these differences. So automatically we see bad faith arguments being made, or you're saying, there's a majority who are opting for open relationships. Well, that's not good, but that's not saying that a majority are into polyamory. Okay. A number of happy practitioners recently shared their experience with HuffPost. HuffPost. Oh man, good old HuffPost. They're still around. Jeez. All these media outlets, they should just dry up and die. They really should. They are worse than useless. Suggesting that conventional duos who feel the spark has left their once passionate romantic lives might consider stepping out together as next steps. All right, 6 signs that the pro-polyamory crowd suggests might signify your relationship is ready for a serious change. By the way, I have to share with y'all something that my daughter said about polycules. She said every time she's seen a polycule, a polyamorous, like, quote-unquote marriage, a polyamorous relationship where there's several people involved, she says, it's basically one fat girl and 4 ugly guys. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, moving on. Non-monogamous writer Sarah Stroll said it always felt like a sacrifice to curtail her desires or exploration to this blah blah blah. Okay. So what? And they're going to tell us what the 1-on-1 is the loneliest number. So that means you're the first step that you're ready for your relationship is ready, quote unquote, for polyamory is that one-on-one just doesn't do it for you anymore. Maybe it's never done it for you. You just always wanted somebody else to be in there. You needed somebody else. I mean, the normal way of doing it just doesn't cut it for you. But I mean, that's not even what polyamorous doesn't even mean more than one at a time. It means you share the same lover, partner, whatever. It always felt like it's okay. Anyway, your mind is a curious. So you're also ready if your mind is a curious one. Well, I have a curious mind, and I'm not quote unquote ready for this. I would not, even if I were in a relationship, I would not want anything to do with this. And if I was in a relationship and the person I was in a relationship with tried to introduce me to this, I would say no way. Polyamory educator. Again, is there money in that? Said that those with adventurous spirits and an appetite for new things. All right. Someone who's energized by novelty, learning, and self-discovery would be a good fit for non-monogamy. So people who are into just being normal, people who are into monogamy are, by, what's the word? By implication. Sorry, I had a hard time summoning up that word. Are by implication not don't have curious minds. They're just boring. If you're a boring person, that's the same kind of thing that they were saying at the CNN article about cuckoldry. If you're a boring person, then just stick with your darn monogamy, your boring monogamy. But if you're an adventuresome person, if you're an interesting person, if you like to try, if you like learning new things, you see how they try to make it sound like the best people among us are the ones who are the polyandrous, and the worst among us are the damn monogamous, those boring monogamous. Okay. Other people give you quote unquote energy. Oh boy. See, now this picture is deceptive because most of polyamory that I have seen, it's been one woman and a bunch of guys. Just like my daughter said, one fat girl and 5 ugly guys, or 4 or 5 ugly guys. It hasn't been 3 good-looking people, having a threesome. This is sort of meant to appeal to the male fantasy of a threesome. Okay. And that is a common male fantasy, but that doesn't mean that you are a polyandrist if you have that fantasy. The desire to explore is a sign that polyamory is for you. No. Well, I don't know. To explore where? Like, I don't want to explore other orifices, One orifice is good. One orifice is plenty. Or 2 orifices on the same person. Sorry to get so explicit there. So polyamory might inspire connections both of romance and friendship. Okay. See, you just live a better life if you're polyamorous, it says. The connection is stronger with your partner. All right, and here we have 3 girls. One of them with neon blue hair, together on a bed, doing something. I don't know what they're doing. They're just sort of sitting there. Anyhow, So yeah, so you're also ready for polyamory if the connection is strong with your partner. Or other people give you energy. Okay, if your connection is strong with your partner, it needs to happen in relationships that are on solid ground. So if you're, this is the same kind of crap they were saying in the. I remember this. Look up the article for yourself, the one on CNN about cuckoldry, and see that I'm right. I'm not going back to it right now, but remember they were saying the same kind of stuff. Like if you're insecure, if you're not ready for this sort of thing, then you should just stick with your boring traditional stuff. But if you're an interesting person and you are secure and you have a strong bond with your partner, then once you open up the relationship, you can no longer rely on the fact that your relationship is exclusive to prove that you love each other. Yeah. So you're just better because you can know that you love each other even though you're both fucking other people. Or I guess are you both? I think I think a typical polycule, only one person is getting uh, more sex from more people. But I guess it can be anything. I guess technically it can be 2 guys and 3 girls, or 3 guys and 5 girls, or whatever. But again, I don't. It's not the like the kind of glamorous people, the attractive people that they feature here in these pictures. That's not. Well, I don't know about those rear ends. Don't look that glamorous, but sorry to be crude again. Anyway, they're selling you with these photos. There's a distance in the bedroom. Polyamory might help people explore kinks that their partner is not comfortable with. Well, or you could just get together with your partner, decide on what partner. Let's say, can we just say spouse? Can we say husband or wife? You get together with them and work something out. And if you like something a certain way, then if you were in a loving marriage, then your husband or your wife is going to be willing to give that, and vice versa. As long as it's not anything too out of hand, right? Like you can imagine what I mean. As long as it's not anything absolutely disgusting. Then I don't know, you might want to have second thoughts about the whole relationship. You don't think of it as a problem solver. Okay, again, fairly attractive couple from the back, or thruple from the back here. Polyamory shouldn't be thought of as a relationship saver. Going to polyamory as a last-ditch effort to save a relationship is almost always a bad idea. But just above that, you just said that it's a good way to explore kinks that you're not able to explore when you're in your boring monogamous relationship. So what is it? It's like they want to have it both ways. Oh God. It's something the partner can get bullied into. Okay, well that's great. I wonder what people said in response to this. Make sure your relationship is on solid ground. Well, if it was, you wouldn't do it. And if you did it, it would be an express ticket to it no longer being. Amen. 26 thumbs up. Tom Brady. Okay, you sold me. Let me talk to the missus about having her sister over. I'm sure it will be fine. She is very understanding. And that's Tom Brady too. Wow. Yeah. Who's funding the research? Divorce attorneys. Okay, so I'm heartened by these comments. There might be some others that are less heartening, but I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead there. So once again, we see the mainstream media, and this is the supposedly, right-leaning media. This is the New York Post. We see the mainstream media trying to tell us to not be monogamous. Basically, telling us that monogamy is boring, it's for boring and insecure people, and if you are a secure and exciting person, you're going to practice polyamory. Yep, there you go. Thanks, media. Appreciate you.